Hello and welcome to episode 108 of Communicast, the podcast dedicated to enhancing communication skills. I'm your host, Scott D'Amico, president of Communispond. Today I'm joined by Sairan Aqrawi, a business strategist, certified coach, and engineer with extensive experience in leading complex infrastructure projects. Sairan brings a unique perspective on the role of communication in both technical fields and personal transformation. In this episode, she shares how she transitioned from a successful engineering career into coaching and business strategy, and why active listening, not talking, is the true marker of great communicators. We explore the hidden strengths of introverts, the impact of empathy on team leadership, and how to build real human connection in an increasingly AI-driven world. Let's dive in. Sairan, thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you so much, Scott, for having me. My pleasure.
Really looking forward to our conversation. Before we get into it, maybe tell the listeners just a little bit about you, your background, your journey, and the great work that you're doing today.
Thank you, Scott. My background, as you saw in LinkedIn, is over 30 years engineering. That's telling you I am old. So I've been around for a while, done so many kind of engineering from survey, construction, design. Right now, currently, I'm still working as a full-time for the Transit Authority. When I finished my master's degree in 2017, I started my doctoral in engineering right away, thinking, okay, this is the ultimate. I'm going to be a PhD degree in engineering. I'm going to teach in the university. Life is good. But then the universe had a different plan for me, because back then they asked me if I am willing to speak for the younger engineer about the real life about tech women, what they should expect on the field, what they should expect from the workforce. So it's not always rosy and a straight line. So I done a couple of workshops with the women in engineering, and they loved it. The feedback, the testimonial came back. They thought I'm a coach. And I didn't even understand what a business or a life coach is, because all I knew, I thought this coaching is just for sport. And when I was in my 20s, I was a swimming coach. So I thought they are talking about sport. They said, no, we talking about the component of being a life and business coach. So I never finished my doctoral. I done one semester. I joined the ICF, the International Coaching Federation. I become a certified coach. I start a business. I run that business for 4 or 5 years for tech women. Then I changed my niche in September 2023, to be exact, to a business strategist. What I'm doing, I am combining, integrating my IQ as someone who's good in math or technology, and combining with the emotional intelligence, with the IQ, with the EQ, with my coaching client, with the speaking, with the workshop, with the guidance that I give for men and women when they hit a certain age called midlife, and how they can have the courage to start a business by their own. So, and here I am talking to you.
Fantastic. Thank you so much for sharing that. I'm always really intrigued about these stories as to how someone got from point A to point B. Sometimes it's a zigzag all over the place. Sometimes it's pretty linear, but it's really cool to hear how there ultimately was something very clear that happened. You started mentoring some of these younger people in your profession, and they received it so well that it's like, hey, you really should be doing this as a business or as a job. So it's great to hear that. And as I think about not only coaching and working with business from a business strategy perspective, but then also a career in engineering, communication skills would play a big part of that, a big part of the success of that. And I'm sure you've encountered communicators of all shapes and sizes throughout your life. So when you hear that somebody is a really strong communicator, or that they have great communication skills, what does that mean to you?
A great communicator to me always someone who's able to listen to others. He has the active listening skills to others, and they really listen to you in a deep level, and not rushing to respond you first, but second, also they digest what you've been said. If you tell them in a statement, they kind of like they go through the lines, and if they have question, they might ask you, said, can you elaborate on that? So they ask a lot of questions, not necessarily they show you how smart they are. And I see it in engineering world a lot because you look at some people who high level, with all respect, with all my colleagues in engineering, you'll see their LinkedIn. It's so long. It's their title is longer than their expertise, right? They have all kind of credential, all kind of degree, which is plus, nothing wrong with that. But when you meet them at the conference room, when you meet them, when you have, a workshop, none of those skills they listed on LinkedIn, it's really happening in reality because they lack of communication. And that's how I was telling you communication is such an essential skill that you need to acquire because you might have PhD degree in structure, might have PhD degree in chemical engineering, but if you are not having the ability to explain a simple statement to someone who not necessarily an engineer, don't assume everyone is in a tech world. If you are not able to explain your points, your title in LinkedIn or your degree will not serve you that much because you still have to, like we say in engineering world, you are a good engineer if you explain the math equation to a high schooler because the high schooler is not in engineering school yet. So I cannot come to the workshop and I see kids in 17 and 18 and I act like I'm the smart one. Let me show them how smart I am. I am not a good communicator as an engineer if I'm not explaining my equation in a simple form. And that's what is make you effective. And communication, like I even told you before we start recording, that niche or niche, it's very essential nowadays, especially with everything going on around you. Everything's an app, everything is a, quick AI. You still have to really master the skill because it's going to help you on the long run.
Three things that I heard there: really active listening and digesting what you have. Don't just be jumping in, immediately responding. Try not to assume. Don't assume what somebody else already knows. And then three, keep it simple. It sounds simple to do, but as you mentioned, so many people don't do that. They take for granted that their audience knows all the technical jargon and they know all the acronyms and they're experts at it. And sometimes people, for better or worse, they want to try to sound smart. They want to try and sound like the expert. Usually backfires because people aren't tracking with them. And then the listening component really is the foundation of it all. If you're not listening, you have ultimately no idea what's going on. And if your messaging is really relating, because the goal of communication isn't just getting information out there into the world, ultimately, you're trying to get somebody to think, act, do, believe differently. And if you're not paying attention to their cues, either what they're saying, asking them to elaborate, like what you said, checking for understanding, your communications are absolutely going to go nowhere.
Yes, and I see it in real life, Scott, because I work in project infrastructure for $6 billion, huge, biggest project in the nation when we extend the line to the airport. And you are in the room, there might be different, stakeholders and client or, subcontractor. Let's say total of 40 people or 50 people. And you always find out that the guy or the female who's sitting on the table who talk the less they talk, they just observe, they listen, they take notes. They are the one who has the final decision, not the one who keep talking like there is no tomorrow. There's some people come to those meetings, they just talk for the sake of talking. So they said, oh, I have this, I have a master degree, I have PhD degree. Great, thank you very much. Clap for him, sit down. What else he can offer? The person who don't talk, and I see it in every engineering meeting, the person who talk the least, the person who really pay attention, like they take notes and like, let me ask somebody else. The more you pay attention, the more you take notes, your final decision. This is why they are the decision maker, because they don't have to seek validation. They don't sell you that they are smart. They are the decision maker. They are the highest rank on the project. But they talk the least because they want to hear everyone. They want to see the opinion from everyone. So their actually communication skills is so high, not by talking a lot, by listening more. So people say, oh, he's a great communicator. He knows how to speak. That's a different era. We are not talking about public speaking. We are talking about someone who master communication skill by listening. He don't jump. Like Renee Brown said, if you don't have data, you make assumption. He got all the data. Like she said, don't make assumption. Don't assume this project failed because such and such. Listen to everyone. Collect the information, and their final say is always bold and precise because they listen to everyone. And I see it every day at my day job.
It's very difficult to learn when you're constantly talking.
Yes.
If you're always talking, you're not listening. If you're not listening, you're not going to be learning. And I think a lot of young professionals probably fall into either end of the spectrum where they feel like they need to always just be talking and speaking up and getting that light put on them so that they're getting awareness in their career and they're going to grow. Other people, I do think they shy away from it because maybe they're insecure, they're not confident enough, they feel like what they have to say isn't valuable. So it really is striking that balance of really listening. So, as you mentioned, you can process, you can get the information, and then you can make an informed statement or ask a poignant question. So, really, it's finding that balance because I've had that feedback early in my career where I'm a relatively introverted person. I don't speak up a lot in meetings just for the sake of speaking up, and I was surrounded by a lot of people that did that. So the feedback was, is Scott really engaged with everything? He's typically very quiet, doesn't say a whole lot in the meetings. For me, I was listening, I was processing, and my boss at the time, fortunately, knew that. She said, when Scott speaks, it's because it's something important. He's not going to be out there just with the fluff and talking for the sake of talking. So for those listening, you got to find that balance of not being out there too much, but also not sitting in the shadows your entire career.
Yes, and I will add to what you said. They consider you to be introvert and not speaking a lot, and I see it in younger engineers who they join the team. If they are introvert, they do admit they said, "Okay, don't think that we are not paying attention, but we would love to listen and learn." And guess what, Scott? Most of the smart idea and innovative idea come from those introvert people. Like all the good, like shortcut and how to do things better, those innovation idea mostly come from the introvert. Why? Because, like you said, they were not selling themselves. They were not seeking that spotlight or validation. Oh, let me show them how smart I am. Well, you can show it later if you give me your brilliant idea. That will give me a sense of, oh, he was listening or she was listening. But like you said, if you continue talking, you're going to miss a lot because the more we hear, the more we read, we realize that we have not learned anything.
So we talked a little bit about this, and you and I talked briefly before we started recording around just how technology is reshaping the way people communicate. AI and generative AI over the past 24 months has had a massive impact on workplace communication, personal communications. There's the term going around now with AI slop, where it's just lots of stuff that all sounds the same. The quality isn't good. So if you think about the workplace today, a big part of it in growing in your career and being successful is still being able to make human connections. We talked a little bit about listening, but beyond that, what are some of the skills that you think people need today to thrive in their careers?
Very good question, Scott, because you can automate a lot of things, even in technology. If you have a design, you can give it to AI and it automate it for you. Again, we are lacking that empathy part or the hug or the human part of it. We need both. I'm in different generation than my kids. My kids in their 20. So me doing something in technology, I consider to them like a turtle because I'm very slow, right? I graduated many years ago, but that does not cancel their skills as well. We need both. You need the younger generation and the older generation for their lessons learned and wisdom. I feel like the things that you need to master and be a better communicator with this AI, with all the noise that you hear, is you need to integrate that empathy in your leadership. You need to know about your team, what they are coming from, are they are comfortable with what they are doing. And I'll give you an example. If you have a team of 3 engineers or 3 guys in finance or any IT, any career you choose. And each one of them, they thrive and they find joy in something else. Meaning, some guys love research. Great, put them on the research component. Some guys or girls, they like to be on the field, boots on the ground, they touch things hands on the factory. So the empathy comes from asking them questions. Have an open-minded, open the office door and say, hey, come to me, I'm your team lead. What do you like to do at your day job? You will be surprised that you assign the guy to run the meeting. He's the shyest, the most introvert guy who just loves to do research and paper. But you assign him to run meeting. That's exactly the opposite of their personality. So if you can distinguish what each one loves to do, not only the joy, they enjoy what they are doing and they feel that they are owning that things. So they give you the best result. And that does not happen, Scott, without a positive communication. I cannot come to the picture because they are younger and I'm in my mid 50 telling them, oh, I know better than you. How I know better than them? One of them might be one of the genius who just pop up in my face, right? So you need that talk, you need that open conversation saying what you like to do, how can I help you, what is missing to make your day job is more enjoyable, and what do you want me to do for you? And the team member will love that because you are not throwing them in a places that they don't belong to. And going back to your question about the AI, I hear that from my client women who they are in their 50. They are like, hey, I'm scared, I'm old, I'm about to retire. Well, no one asking you to be master in AI, but also don't be so isolated. Don't just push it away saying, I'm not doing this. I will never touch AI. I will never use ChatGPT. Well, the AI is here. There is no way back, right? You just need to adapt it in a way that's serving you, like utilize it for your own benefit. You cannot just cancel it totally saying, I'm not doing AI. I remember same thing with the flip phone. We have those flip phone, you remember? And it was no wrong. Like you just receive the call and you make a call. No one complained, right? But no, oh, I'm not doing iPhone. Oh, I will keep the flip phone. Well, the flip phone is gone. Now your phone is a computer in your pocket. So as much as we pushed away the flip phone, we still adopt the new technology. So don't be isolated in having that technology like a train pass you so quick and you'd be like, wow, what's happened? Because in a blink of eye, everything changed in a second. So the more you be adaptive, the more you communicate your ideas with other, you're going to scale in your game.
What you mentioned around leaders getting to know their people and what drives them and what motivates them and you may their personality quirks and where they may shine or thrive or stretch is, I think, exponentially more important today because in addition to the changes of technology, what we've also seen over the past 10, 15 years is a change in people's careers. Historically, where people went to work, they worked for the same organization 15, 20, 30 years, extremely rare. When you had that time, you had the opportunity for pattern recognition to know that, Sairan, whenever we do this, it didn't go well, or whenever she did this, it went very well. So we're going to start doing that. And maybe you didn't have to talk to people as much or communicate. But now with people cycling through jobs sometimes every 12, 18, 24 months, having those communications early and often are going to help you understand your employees better, what motivates them, and how you can best set them up for success.
Yes, totally. And the best person who explained what you just said is Robert Greene. Who's better than Robert Greene to speak about in his mastery book and talk about each one of us have a life purpose or a life task, right? He talked about himself as example, how he been done. I think he's done like 40 different jobs until he ended up being the best, author and writer in the United States. But it wasn't like this in the beginning. But he said since he was a young man or his teenage, I think he loved to write. He was obsessed about word and how to put the words in line, right? So that clarity is needed to younger generation and even to midlife generation because those things does not have happen overnight. You're not going to wake up one day and you have a coach for 3 months and he's going to tell you what do you excel at, what is the best niche for you, what was the best things that really add joy to you. It's your job. It's you have to really intentionally sit down with yourself and say, what is really adding joy to my life? And you said something very profound, Scott, in your question. You said a lot of people change their career and they are pivoting. And that's happened. I think 40% of American, they change their job during pandemic. 40%. The studies say 40%. That's a high percentage because during pandemic, you and I sit at home not knowing what is that pandemic will do to us. We had enough time to reflect and think, should I go back to my day job? So a lot of Americans had that extra time to think about their options. And when they come back, when after COVID they open for business, you saw a lot of people change their career because they realized that the first half of their life they were navigating and they were creating their identity just to survive. But when COVID hit, they sit down and their soul spoke with their brain and said, no, that's not really what I want. That's not something that I find joy into it. Maybe I just need to quit my IT corporate who pay me 250 and become a communicator master like you, right? I mean, you never maybe thought this is gonna be something that you're gonna do for the rest of your life, but you thrive in it. You are good at it. So you find out that, oh, this is my hidden gem. This is my talent. So it's not just a passion that I love to do. I can take that passion and master it and make it a skill and make it a career.
Spot on. Sairan, shifting gears a little bit, we've been talking a lot about skills and other people's skills. Talk about you for a moment. If I were to say, ask someone close to you, colleague, friend, family member, and ask them, what's the key communication skill that has helped Sairan get to where she is today? What would they share with me?
So when I was younger, and my mom used to tell me that when I was younger in my 20s, I thought the whole world problem is mine. This is why I know I was a coach from day one, but I happened to be an engineer, end up being an engineer. So I thought that anyone who come to me and telling me about how they feel or the struggle or the obstacle they are facing, my job is to fix it. That's when I was young. When I aged and I gained more wisdom and I done business and I changed my niche twice, I realized that you don't have to respond to everything said to you because a lot of people come to you and they call you a great communicator. And this is how I got that feedback from a lot of people, especially after I aged, after my 50, that they just need someone to listen to them. They are not asking you to fix their issue because they know how to fix it. This is their vent phase. They venting. They are venting. They are telling you, I went to work today and my boss was very rude to me. I cannot believe he insulted me, blah, blah, blah. So they're venting, they're venting. Don't jump as a calling yourself, I'm a great communicator. Let me fix their problem. Don't jump and telling them, take him to HR. Answer him back this way. That does not make you effective because that person did not choose you among everyone as a close friend for you to fix their problem. They know what's a problem and they are adult enough to fix it. They need you to listen. And what I do now, which I mastered after many, many years, I mean, many, try and error. I normally ask the person, okay, I listen and can I ask you a question? Do you want me just to listen or you want my feedback? Do you want me to add my 2 cents? And most of them, they said, no, I was just angry and I grabbed the phone. I just wanted to talk to you. And as you know, what's funny is when they leave, they will call you a great communicator. You did not even open your mouth. You didn't even say anything. But they said they love the conversation and they love talking to you. You did not even say a word. But if they ask you, oh yeah, what do you think? Just give them, the shorter you can give is the better. Always try, make your line precise and concise. And now I sound like 100% engineer, like everything's calculated. Because the more you explain, you are planting doubts in your statement. So the shorter, the more precise and concise you come across, more wise. So that's what I think they're going to tell you.
I love that. That's something personally that I've been working on as a natural problem solver. My immediate inclination is try to just jump right in, especially at home with my wife and my kids. I have two teenage kids. So when they come to me with something, I'm like, well, why didn't you do this? Or you can do this. Sometimes just pause, as you mentioned, just breathe, listen, and then ask that question. It's a great question to ask. Say, do you want me to just listen? Do you want my advice? Do you want my feedback on this? Sometimes I'll say, yeah, I need some help with this, or other times like, no, I just needed to get it off my chest. 90% of the time, as they're talking, the solution comes into their mind. They just had to get it out to someone. They
Exactly.
feel better, and then they talk themselves into the solution. So fantastic advice.
Thank you.
Who has been someone from throughout your career or your life that's influenced your communication style?
I think someone else asked me this question. It was like last year, I think one of the podcasts, who has influenced the way how I speak or the way how I handle my business. Um, it's not a mentor for say. I mean, I have very good mentors. I have great friends and all of that. But the only two who always stand out, always, and I never change this the answer of this question, are my parents. Uh, they are both not here anymore, and they passed away. But they were very, very unique. Like my father was totally different than my mom, but the combination between both, I took the best out of both of them. Like my father was very precise and military style, and when he tell you no is a no and yes is yes, everything was lined up. My mom was more flexible, but my mom has this spirituality in it, like the empathy, the heart, the hug, the attention. And also, what I learned from her, which is affecting my business a lot. I remember she used to telling us there is a lot of event in life happen that's worth neglecting. You just need to neglect it. And we were like in our 20, we get up and said, Mom, what do you mean neglect? He did done wrong with me. This is something against me. She said, when you grow up, you will find out that 90% of the event that we react to did not even worth our reaction. It's not even worth your reaction, does not worth your energy. And she keep telling us, keep those energy for something that's benefiting you, that's adding value to you. And we human beings, by default, we because we defend ourselves, we have that defense charisma. Oh, let me answer. Let me reply back to that nasty email. But if we just sit on it for a little bit, most of the time that rude email, by the next day, it's solved by itself. Somebody else will defend behalf of you. And I'm not saying being negative or never defend on yourself, but
Mhm.
try to pick your battle. Try to pick what is really worth your time. Try to pick what's really worth your energy. Because as you age, what was really exciting you in your 20 and 30, I'm in my mid 50s, so I can give this advice. When you are in your 20 and 30, you're thinking if you're partying more, if you are being more, networking and drinking and eating whatever you like. When you hit that 50, you find the quality of life. It might be just a favorite book, a fireplace, sitting beside a fireplace and having a cup of green tea. It's very simple. Being content and being joyful inside, it become much simpler. So I feel like, yes, I feel that two people who really still affecting every trait in my personality are my parents.
So as you think about this journey from engineer to coach, you typically don't see those two go together. But now, after hearing that about your parents and two very different styles and personalities coming together, makes perfect sense now, right? The very yes is yes, no is no, clear, precise versus the empathy, the warmth, the understanding. 100% makes sense.
Yes,
And the one
combination.
thing that you touched on there, And just a small thing you notice is, for example, you get an email that is rude and you step away from it. Maybe the next day you come back and you realize, you know what, not that big a deal, doesn't bother you. A couple of things could have happened. One, you just realize, yeah, it's not that important. The other thing is you go back and reread it and you go, oh, maybe that wasn't really that rude, or maybe that wasn't as, short as I thought it was, or upsetting as I thought it was, because when I read it, I was in a foul mood. I had just come out of a bad meeting, or I was having a terrible day, and I read it and I projected my emotion onto the tone of that email, because in written communication, the tone, the inflection, the meaning gets lost so easily. So I'm a big fan of stepping away from things. If you get an email that puts you on edge, step away. Don't immediately respond. Don't immediately pick up the phone. Go for a walk, go get a cup of coffee, give it the night, whatever it may be. Take that pause. It will really help. Sairan, as we're wrapping up here, what piece of closing advice would you have for people listening to this? It's really around the importance of these skills and the impact that they can have on their lives.
I can give one advice at career, even personal life, to be more effective as a communicator, just to be more effective as a human being, to be clear in your message. Clarity is such a power. Don't be all over the place. Don't talk about 7 subjects in one question being said to you. Like people say, okay, so in which area you are working? Are you in technology, or you are in journalism? You are a doctor? Answer exactly what the question being said to you. Don't go extra. Don't keep labeling and adding lines and using some word we cannot even find in the dictionary just to make it look like, oh, I'm smart, I know all those terms, right? So to be a better communicator and more effective, just be clear, because clarity is such a powerful tool that if you said the answer, if someone asks you a question and you answer it in few words, just 2 or 3 words, no one can add anything to it, because it was very clear, polished, and bold. And when you are bold in your answer, people cannot accuse you that you said something else. People accuse others for saying something else because they said so much. So they can just throw any word that you never said, but you cannot defend yourself because you were talking for 10 minutes. But if you answer in 3 and 4 words, no one can attack you in something you never said, because you remember exactly how you answer that question in a bold, precise, and concise way. But the people who always end up being in trouble, telling you, I never said that. Well, maybe you did, because I think I hear you saying it, because they were talking for a long time. So make it short, make it precise, and you'll be a better communicator.
Fantastic advice. Sairan, really appreciated the conversation and you joining me. If people want to connect with you, learn a little bit more about the work that you're doing, what's the best way for them to do that? And I can make sure I include that in the show notes.
Thank you, Scott. So I don't want to leave your audience free-handed. I want to give away complimentary. I normally charge hourly or 30 minutes, but for the sake of your audience and having me in your platform, if they mention your name or your podcast, I'll give 15 minutes complimentary to advance their LinkedIn, and 15 minutes complimentary on their Instagram if they have a side business. So they get total of 30 minutes, 15 minutes for LinkedIn page and 15 minutes on Instagram. I'll walk them quickly through the framework that I have, which is called Gem Thrive. It's the gem itself, which is my business card. I think that I have it here. It's a gem. That's my business card. So I will walk them through the 3 pillars of being more effective in their business: the clarity, the action, and the consistency. They can reach me on LinkedIn for any technology or anything related to their job, advancing their job, or they can reach out to me on Instagram, ask me about business. They are all under my name, SairanAqrawi.com.
Well, that is very generous of you to offer that. And I will be sure to put that information, as well as with all those relevant links, down in the show notes. Sairan, thank you again. Really enjoyed the conversation. Hope you have a great rest of your day.
Thank you so much, Scott. Thank you for having me. Thank you.
Special thanks again to my guest, Sairan Aqrawi, for joining us and sharing her insights on active listening, empathetic leadership, and how to communicate with purpose and clarity. As we close, here's a reminder inspired by Sairan's experience. Communication isn't just about saying more. It's about saying what matters, clearly and intentionally. Whether you're mentoring young professionals, managing cross-functional teams, or redefining your own path, the ability to listen deeply and speak with precision can unlock growth in every direction. Be sure to subscribe to Communicast so that you don't miss future episodes with leaders and experts redefining what great communication looks like. And if this episode resonated with you, please leave a rating or review. It helps others discover the show and supports our growing community. Thanks for listening, and have a great day.